Hello, Steve White, Tripway89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 19, Supanova Part 1. It was interesting. There was some serious Starship battle porn, and so forth, but the story is not really, I'm not really engaged. I've enjoyed the individual episodes, but the sort of overarching story for the whole season is not that interesting. It's very much Star Wars, and I'm just sort of waiting for it to end. But visually, there was a lot to look at least. Basically, a whole fleet of starships is there to take on the Protostar. The Protostar, because like a Star Wars story, you have to have that big space battle where you have the big giant ships and the little ship flying around it. And that's what the Prodigy is, flying around all the big starships. So they have their Star Wars battle. And then Janeway is in the brig because she's been deemed medically unfit. But instead of just asking to speak to someone to communicate the information that she needs to, she insists on being released, but of course they won't release her. But then the person who's manning the bridge ends up being someone she rescued once upon a time, so then she lets her out anyway. And she goes to the bridge, but she's too late to stop the signal going out, too late for them to stop them contacting the ship and the virus, whatever you want to call it, being transmitted. But then in the battle, she just ends up taking over command anyway. But the universal translators are down. They can't even speak within their own ships. It's a big mess. And I must admit being a little bit shocked, like, oh, really? They released it? Because I just thought it'd be like, oh, okay, at what point do we stop the signal from going out? And, I didn't actually expect them to fail and for the starships to start shooting each other. Now, their only real hope is to ask Allied vessels to come and, shield the ships from each other and get in between the phaser beams, basically. But considering the ships are just, automatic, they're just, shooting, I'm like, how long can they keep this up for? Because of course, they don't approach first the Vulcans or their allies. Of course, they speak to the Klingons first and give some big flowery speech. Gwen gives some flowery speech about how the Federation, there needs to be one place in the universe where everyone's accepted. We need the Federation, please help us, basically. And the Klingon's like, no. But then she comes back with a whole fleet of ships. It's like, okay, that's not believable. They could have just asked any of the, allies and started there. So that was a bit of melodrama, and so there's some weak storytelling. There is there's a lot of Star Wars-esque. I mean, the battles, it was just all Star Wars, and so it was a struggle. But I mean, it was interesting to see the battle scenes. Once they started shooting, just starships just shooting each other, just sitting there. I think the Defiant was there. There was a bunch of Sovereign classes. There were a lot of ships. There was something to look at, but nothing really happening because I don't really care. But I didn't think they'd get to this point because I sort of was thinking, how are they going to fill out these 2 episodes just avoiding engaging with the Federation so the virus doesn't get released and they don't start destroying each other. But so the Diviner gets stabbed by the imposter and his minion, whatever, I can't remember the name of his henchman guy. They basically disappear. He actually turns into a escape pod for her to shoot through the view screen and disappear. So the villains are gone. The Diviner is stabbed and he's dying. I'm like, this is the 23rd century. He was only stabbed. Why aren't they saving him medically? Why aren't they taking him to sickbay? Why is he dying? So I couldn't engage in that because it was just stupid. Because, I mean, they can cure the most amazing medical, issues, and yet someone gets stabbed and they can't do anything and they just sit there and watch them die for dramatic purposes. So, he's dead. And they're just watching the ships shoot themselves. And of course, all the ships have sent out SOSs and distress signals, so more ships are coming, And even though they had all these ally ships come and they seemed to sort of stop the destruction for a moment, like I was saying, how long can they do that for? So, I don't know, are they going to destroy the whole of Starfleet? I mean, there does seem to be no way to stop it. I thought the whole thing would be just not allowing it out and not allowing it to start. It's like, so what, they're going to find a way to stop it within one episode? Or are they just going to basically destroy Starfleet? I don't know. But we'll see in the next episode. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm just watching just see how it ends. I don't really care because I'm not learning anything. There's no exploration. It's just, Star Wars space battles and fist fights and weapon hand-to-hand combat. It's just Star Wars. I'm going to go. Bye.